3, 2, 1, liftoff. Jupiter and Uranus are aligning in the cosmos, which means you, your universe, and the collective is about to be supercharged with a bolt of electric energy. So let's talk about what you need to know about this lucky conjunction. Hi, my name is Haley Comet, and welcome to my Cosmic Corner of the Internet, where we discuss all things astrology, and today, all things Jupiter conjunct Uranus, April 20th, 2024, and you. What this electric, unexpected energy indicates for the collective, and how you can co-create with this abundant breakthrough of a conjunction. These two planets get together every 14 years, and as we go back in history, which we will do within this video, you will see that when these two get together, you can expect the unexpected. This conjunction coincides with some of the most significant developments in science, some of the most major uprisings or political movements that we've experienced within humanity, some of the most major developments and genius ideas within music, within publishing. When these two get together, there are unexpected currents of electricity that are genius. And so when it comes to the two getting together within the month of April 2024, there can be events, ideas, epiphanies, discoveries that significantly propel your journey forward. But there is a way to co-create with this energy. So we'll talk about how you can find where these two are aligning within your chart and how to seize the most from this transit that can very well be the breakthrough that you have been waiting for. So within this video, we'll break down the collective implications because there are a lot. We'll talk about how to find where exactly this conjunction is landing within your chart. And then we'll take it house by house, sign by sign, how and where you will feel these electric surges of energy and how you can channel the genius, the liberating, the freedom-seeking energy of this alignment. But before we get into that, I just want to introduce myself just in case it is your first time over in my Cosmic Corner. Hi, my name is Haley Comet. I post weekly horoscope videos called Magic Monday every single week, as well as all signs videos like this, breaking down the major transits that you will experience and furthermore how to co-create with them. One thing that you need to know about how it is that I am a conduit for astrology is that I'm super passionate about using this art of interpretation to co-create with, not feeling like a victim to the cruel and mean cosmos, but rather seizing the opportunities that these transits bring us. If that feels to be in alignment with you, I would deeply appreciate a subscription. And I do want to let you know that I do have an astrology course that's taught through this lens. And in the year 2024, we are gathering for monthly group classes in addition to all of the online material, as well as the one-on-one support that you can add on from me. April's group class is all about transits, how to co-create with the personal transits that you are moving towards. The live class will be taught on Saturday, April 27th at 10 a.m. PDT, so a week after this conjunction aligns. But of course, replays for all of the monthly group classes will be sent out afterward. And if you enroll in the year 2024, your chart will be utilized in examples. So great opportunity to learn more about transits, as well as all of the forthcoming classes within our cosmic curriculum. You can check that out below. And without further ado, let's go ahead and take it into Jupiter conjunct Uranus, electrifying possibilities. Jupiter, the planet of faith, of growth, of luck, of abundance, will align with Uranus, the planet of rebellion, of shocking revelations, of genius, of being weird, being eccentric, thinking outside of the box. These two planets get together on April 20th, 2024 at 21 degrees Taurus. To be specific, the two align at 7:24 p.m. PDT. But please do not feel that this breakthrough energy is just limited to that time or even that day. Because Jupiter and Uranus move so slowly, we are already in the rays of this energy, and we will likely continue to feel it ripple out. When we get into the next section of this video, where we break down throughout history what has occurred when these two get together, you'll see that some of the notable events that were pulled are not necessarily the exact date and time that the two get together, but rather a larger window. And I want you to know that this liberating genius energy that is aligning this year will operate in in the same way. It is not neatly concentrated to April 20th, 2024. Uranus is the planet of electricity, and there are some shock waves, okay, when it comes to these two getting together. So let's talk about some significations when it relates to the collective. So the first overarching theme that I want you to look out for is that energy of Eureka. Eureka, I've done it, I've found it, I've figured it out. The very nature of Uranus is about thinking outside of the box, and Jupiter is the planet of faith. It's the planet of a sense of meaning. And this may show up in big ways or in small ways around having an epiphany in April 2024 that dramatically shifts the trajectory of your life. The interesting thing about Uranus is that it is the very planet that governs what is unexpected. So this energy is very unpredictable. And you can find around the time that these two get together, you can witness it within yourself or those around you, there is a sudden light bulb moment. There is a sudden epiphany. This could show up within your spiritual practice. This could show up around wanting to move abroad. This could show up around finally realizing what has been holding you back. Because Jupiter is the planet of growth and of freedom. So I want to say to those who are feeling stuck in any way, in any shade, if you are feeling stuck within your current environment, be open to miracles with this transit, unexpected developments that allow you to liberate yourself and allow you to finally move forward. Just know the energy of Uranus, while this conjunction can be positive, of course, we'll talk about many of the positive manifestations, it's important to know that Uranus is not necessarily a positive nor a negative. It simply governs change. And so there can be certain unexpected, shocking events that may unfold in certainly not the way that you expected and maybe not even the way that you wanted, but nevertheless allow you to liberate yourself and move forward from something that could have kept you stuck or could have kept you stagnant. It's important to highlight that these two get together within the fixed earth sign Taurus, which as an archetype is typically a sign that prefers steadiness, that prefers consistency. So there's this energy with Jupiter Uranus that a lot of us are finally freeing ourselves from fixed grooves of behavior. Again, for some of you, this could be freeing yourself from a relationship, from a situation, or even from a bad habit, something that has been really stuck. With Jupiter and Uranus, you very well may find that you have an epiphany in the month April 2024 that finally gives you the faith to be able to shift your trajectory. Once you realize something, you can't unrealize it. And that's sort of the dangerous part about Jupiter and Uranus, is that some of us are getting this light bulb moment, this epiphany around where we are needing growth and where we need to move forward within our journey. And the energy of Uranus can be quite erratic. It can be quite unstable. You can observe within the month April 2024 that a lot of people are contemplating or even making sudden shifts. They're having sudden changes of heart, sudden shifts of perspective. Of course, we're on the heels of eclipse seasons, so that absolutely affects this as well. But with the energy of Jupiter Uranus, there's this sudden desire to do something differently, particularly if we've observed that it's been holding back our growth in some way, whether that's physical growth, emotional growth, mental growth, psychological growth, financial growth. These two get together in Taurus. This absolutely has financial implications. I also want to say that Uranus is the planet of rebellion. And so a lot of us are wanting to rebel against whatever has kept us stuck, whatever, systems or authority has kept us stuck. As we go into the next portion, we'll look through how in history a lot of significant revolutions occurred with Jupiter Uranus, because there is this sudden, epiphany around where our freedom is being taken from us, and this sudden epiphany around where it is that we're wanting to take our power back and advocate for ourselves and also our values, with the two getting together in Taurus. So there could be, on a big scale or on a small scale, a desire to revolutionize, a desire to radicalize, a desire to rebel against what within your life does not coincide with your own personal value system. I also want to highlight, with the two getting together in the sign Taurus, Taurus has to do with our physical plane. And so on the shadow side of this conjunction, there can be very unusual weather Okay, very unusual occurrences happening here on planet Earth. We've already observed parts of this with earthquakes and things of that nature, and that very well could be the influence of Jupiter Uranus. Now, on the bright side, what I'm hopeful for, and let's all co-create this vision, Jupiter Uranus in Taurus could also create breakthroughs in terms of how it is that we care for this planet. This is a strong alignment for significant inventions. When we go through the dates, you'll see that a lot of major inventions or discoveries that we revel in within science and technology were done during a conjunction such as this one. So with it happening in the sign Taurus, there absolutely could be inventions or research or discoveries that help us in the care and keeping of this physical planet. But we can also observe Uranus is a planet of things getting weird. So it could just feel like weather, Earth is getting weird, okay? Things could feel to be getting a little weird in April 2024 with these two aligning. I also want to highlight with Taurus being the sign that is associated with money and banking overall, with Jupiter and Uranus, money is a little weird. And I know everybody's feeling it. Like money is a little weird. You know, Jupiter is a planet that governs expansiveness, but it's also excess. And Taurus is about, you know, values and money. So I think most of us are feeling this energy of things getting so pricey. Like that's sort of the shadow side of Jupiter, is that it could be this excess, you know, excess of greed or just excess of like, how much do things even cost? I don't even know. And with the energy of Uranus, there could be market disturbances around this time. There could be new discoveries or new ideas around finances, financial regulations of some sort. And what I want to say for your life individually, be open to novel ideas around how you can grow your finances. With this conjunction, fortune favors those who think out of the box. So with the energy landing in Taurus, again, this is not financial advice. I am but a girl in a cosmic corner who studied astrology. I'm not a financial advisor. But what I'm going to say is that with these two coming together, there can be waves in 2024 where more people are able to get unexpectedly more wealthy than other times in history. And it's those who are willing to see opportunities or see things differently. Like what everybody else is doing, those who dare to go a different way or to view money differently or to tap into industries that are growing quite a bit at this time, or to look for novel opportunities around how to attract more income, continue to grow your income, can also be felt with this alignment. Also, Taurus has to do with farming, it has to do with food, so there could also be significant discoveries around food at this time, around farming at this time. Like it's truly and honestly a time to think outside of the box. Like even with your cooking, there could be new food discoveries or a genius new recipe that you stumble into. Like the energy of Uranus, it asks you during this conjunction to be open to the new. And any of the Taurus archetypes, as well as where it lands within your chart, we'll talk about it. But the energy of Uranus is that we aren't going to find this growth and this eureka, this breakthrough, this aha, unless we are open to viewing the world differently, unless we are open to trying new things. Like Uranus energy, it's time to get weird with it. It's time to think outside of the box. It's time to try to do different things. It's time to challenge fixed grooves of behavior within your universe. Make different food, go different places, take different hikes. Being around different stimuli will generate new sorts of thoughts. And again, with Jupiter, Uranus, a lot of us could be having significant epiphanies, but it's not going to happen if you keep on doing the same old, same old. A lot of people find that Jupiter energy is overrated, but it's important to highlight that Jupiter, Uranus, it's not going to knock on your bedroom door and hand over a formula for an invention that's going to change the world, right? We have to be open to get experimental with it, right? We got to be open for the new to find us, to think new sorts of thoughts, to be different sorts of people, to electrify new possibilities within our world. And with this energy, yes, Jupiter is the planet of luck. So some of us can have an unexpected lucky break, an unexpected lucky break. But here's the thing. As I said earlier, Uranus never shows up how you think it's going to, okay? And so there could be events that transpire in April 2024 that are giving you the lucky break that you've been waiting for, but it's in a weird way. or it's in a bizarre way. Just the other day, a friend of mine had posted on Instagram about how she had moved to a city, and right when she got there, it didn't feel to be a fit for her. And then it just so happened that her apartment had a cricket infestation, so they had to kick everybody out of the apartment, and then she was able to shift gears and move to a city that she actually liked. You wouldn't think a cricket infestation would be lucky, right? You would not think that would particularly be a lucky alignment. It came through in a weird eccentric way, but it provided that individual the opportunity to grow in a new direction. So just know, as you're navigating Uranus energy, sometimes this luck could show up in very bizarre ways and show up in ways that might seem like bad luck at first. Like, oh my gosh, a cricket infestation, but keeping your eye on this target of growth, of propelling yourself forward, of getting closer to your desires, of getting closer to the direction that you want to go in within your life, and honoring that with Jupiter Uranus. Sometimes there can be a shift in trajectory of our growth, and it could be very bizarre. Shift in trajectory from our growth. There also, during this time, you could just be feeling this call for autonomy over your own world. Taurus is about our relationship to stuff. So with Jupiter and Uranus, you could be certain epiphanies around just wanting to sell certain belongings that no longer feel to be in alignment. There could be even certain epiphanies or lucky breaks as it relates to purchasing something significant, especially if you've been patient. Jupiter Uranus could finally give you that breakthrough that you've been looking for to purchase something special. Also, this could bring unexpected disturbances or even gains around foreign currency, ups and downs, unexpected ups and downs. The markets can be quite volatile during this time. But overall, throughout all of the potentials and how it can weave through the collective, it's important with Jupiter Uranus to be open to the new and the novel that's going to propel your journey along and propel humanity's journey along. And with the energy of this conjunction landing in Taurus, it's important to know this isn't all going to happen overnight. This isn't all going to happen on April 20th, 2024. Like, Taurus is a very slow and steady and plotting energy. So there could be just the seed of an idea that is planted during this time, or the beginning of a discovery, or the introduction of where it is that you're going to radicalize and revolutionize your life. So be open to what happens around this time, not just outside of us, but also within us. You know, with Jupiter Uranus, there can be significant epiphanies, aha, light bulb moments that come from inside the house, okay, that come from within. So being open to new sorts of ways of seeing the world, new sorts of perspectives. I also want to highlight, with this energy of Taurus, this is going to be a strange message, but I just feel like somebody needs to hear this. Taurus is about how it is that we value ourselves. And I just feel like with this Jupiter Uranus, there can be this lucky break in terms of finally seeing the value in yourself and moving forward with that hoof forward, right? Taurus is the bull, and having an unexpected aha moment that electrifies and maybe even empowers your journey forward. Uranus is very much about individuality. So I just feel like this could be the breakthrough that some individuals have been waiting for around finally feeling comfortable to express yourself in the way that you want to, or to live your own life, not feeling trapped or ensnared by how other people want to live, or to finally see the value of yourself and propel your growth in a new direction because you yourself see yourself as worthy of these visions coming to life. That can also be something that is felt during this time. So one of the best ways that we can predict how this energy will manifest within our 2024 is to look back at the past times that Jupiter and Uranus have gotten together and the significant events that transpired during this time. So this conjunction is relatively rare. It happens every 14 years. So the last time it happened was 2010, and the next time it will happen is in 2037. And so throughout this video, I won't be able to detail every significant historical or scientific event that has occurred throughout the history of time, but I did pull some significant events for us to begin to tune into how these themes are weaving into our lives in 2024. So firstly, I want to speak to political movements. And you'll see that when Jupiter and Uranus get together, they typically do coincide with significant revolutions. If we expand and widen the lens to also consider when Jupiter and Uranus get together via opposition or square, there can also be significant revolutions, essentially wrapping up sometimes is the case, or a propelling of a certain revolution can also be noted when these two planets are making an aspect to one another. But some significant uprisings that come to mind, the American Revolution, 1775, 1776, was around the time of a Jupiter-Uranus conjunction. And then the next time the two got together, 1788, 1789, was the French Revolution. Again, with Uranus, it's the planet of rebellion, right? Of wanting to fight for what it is that we as people deserve. Now, I'm curious because this conjunction does land in Taurus. I'm curious if there's more of a rebellion showing up around how it is that we spend finances, or there could be a financial rebellion of some sort, pushing back through all of the weirdness that has been alive within finances as of late. That could be one way that it manifests, but absolutely there can be unexpected electric bursts of energy within the collective around wanting to rebel, especially against things that feel unfair or aren't in alignment with our value system, with the conjunction 2024 landing in the sign Taurus. Also, speaking of rebellion, when we think of in more recent history, Jupiter and Uranus aligning late 60s, 1968, 1969, that was the time that we saw so much rebellion, right? Rebellion against what was happening with Vietnam, rebellion against like the patriarchy. This was a significant time for the feminist movement, for the gay rights movement. A lot of times with Jupiter Uranus, it's really around fighting for novelty or fighting for autonomy, fighting for freedom, for us all to be who it is that we want to be and have the freedom that is our birthright, being here on planet Earth, just like everybody else. So that sort of rebellion could also be something that we are feeling in the year 2024. Also, outside of political revolution, you'll also see quite a bit of scientific revolution, which makes sense. Uranus being the planet of science and technology and innovation of all sorts. Within the scientific revolution, 1540, 1541, this was a time that saw many discoveries from the likes of some of the most notable thinkers of history, right? Galileo, Descartes, Copernicus, Newton. Again, Jupiter Uranus is a time to think outside of the box, new discoveries, new awakenings, new innovations. Also, Uranus governs electricity, so not a shock that electromagnetic induction was discovered 1830, 1832-ish. During a Jupiter-Uranus conjunction. A lot of Darwin's major discoveries are timed with Jupiter-Uranus conjunction, so the timing of his voyage on the HMS Beagle, the timing of him publishing his texts and his findings. Also, speaking of significant tech, Freud published The Interpretation of Dreams during a Jupiter-Uranus conjunction in 1899, 1901. So we can also consider that a psychological revolution, right? Like genius, out-of-the-box thinkers who publish texts or create findings that fundamentally send shockwaves through how humanity operates, right? Like a lot of the discoveries during these times that I'm mentioning are still things that we pull from within our daily life now. Like Uranus is sort of the planet of the future. So again, it's like with Jupiter Uranus, there can be ahas or discoveries that continue to ripple out within the future or are very notable moving forward. Also, the technological revolution, something I found really interesting is particularly looking at Jupiter Uranus conjunctions and looking at it in terms of Apple, the company. There's many other elements, but Steve Jobs was born during a Jupiter-Uranus conjunction. The first Apple computer was built during a Jupiter-Uranus conjunction. The iPhone was created not during a conjunction, but during a square, so I also think it's interesting just with Jupiter-Uranus. And then the most recent conjunction in 2010 was the time that Surrey was created, which I think was revolutionary in its own sake. It certainly wasn't the first like AI assistant necessarily, but I do think it paved the way for a lot of things like Alexa or just having like a connection with a robot. Like I think that is significant that Surrey came out during the year of the Jupiter-Uranus conjunction. So also could be a time of significant technological innovations, certainly. Also, when we consider that Jupiter governs travel, there also were significant travel developments achievements, both in traveling around this globe as well as exploring space. Just a couple that come to mind is that the first individual, Charles Lindbergh, hope I'm saying that correctly, flew solo for the first time during a Jupiter-Uranus conjunction. The Wright brothers developed the first glider plane during a Jupiter-Uranus conjunction. Also, Jupiter governs publishing, and you'll see when you look back at Jupiter-Uranus, I mean, it's honestly too many to list, because most of the significant texts, significant novels were written during a Jupiter-Uranus conjunction, like texts that we still reference now. Like Frankenstein was written during a Jupiter conjunct Uranus, which in and of itself is kind of a Uranian warning signal to a certain degree if you think about it from that lens. But also Shakespeare's first folio of plays published during a Jupiter-Uranus conjunction. Even the first printing press was made during the Jupiter-Uranus conjunction. So there can also be electrifying surges forward within the publishing industry as well. Of course, this list is not extensive. I just wanted to take you throughout history, just kind of see some of the possibilities that this alignment can indicate. And again, I just want to make it clear that it's not necessarily all positive. Like I mentioned in the beginning, I'm a co-creative astrologer. I'm big on leveraging and viewing these transits through the most empowering lens possible. But I'm always honest, and I need to be honest here, is that when we look through at Jupiter-Uranus, this is an energy of growth or technical discoveries that propel us forward. But it's like ready or not. Are we ready for the sort of technological developments and just how quick everything is unfolding? Jupiter is excess and growth. So yes, there can be technological innovations, but it doesn't feel like this is energy around it being tempered. It just feels like things are unfolding at such a quick pace that there's not even the space to like ask, is this really going to benefit humanity? Should there be more safeguards in place? So that's one of my concerns with this alignment, as well as some of the events that I told you about. Like certainly the revolutions were not a seamless unfoldings, right? So I don't want us to walk into this transit just assuming that all of these breakthroughs and lucky breaks are going to be 100% positive. I think even when Jupiter is involved, there absolutely can be a shadow side that may be important to be mindful of. But absolutely, we can find that there are discoveries, innovations, ahas, epiphanies that will continue to ripple out within humanity, propelling our growth forward. So now that we are familiar with the collective and historical implications of Jupiter and Uranus aligning in Taurus, let's get into what this means for you and your universe. Firstly, I want to highlight that this conjunction aligns at 21 degrees Taurus. And so if you happen to have any Taurus personal placements, that's Sun, Moon, Rising, Mercury, Venus, or Mars, around 21 degrees Taurus, you will feel this lucky, abundant, potentially lucrative, liberating energy even more so within your experience. And to see where exactly this lucky break or this breakthrough energy is concentrated around, you'll want to get specific on the angle or the planet that it is hitting to figure out where it is that you can shake things up in a way that promotes growth. Now, even if you don't have any planets in Taurus and not around 21 degrees Taurus, that does not mean that you are exempt from this alignment. We will simply want to find where within your chart you have 21 degrees Taurus. Even if you do not have any Taurus placements, you do have 21 degrees Taurus located within your chart. When we mention a particular degree in a particular sign, all we're saying is a certain location of the sky. Everybody has the sky at least somewhere within their celestial blueprint, and it'll be located within a certain personal house within your chart. And that house will indicate the life arenas where you can benefit from this rebellious, eccentric, out-of-the-box sort of connection. So to do this, there are two options. The first is if you are newer to astrology or you utilize whole sign house system. What you'll do is you'll find your rising sign. It's also called ascendant. And you will check the timestamps available within the description as well as within the pinned comment, and you will advance to the timestamp that coincides with your rising sign or your ascendant sign. That is your reading. That is your lucky break energy. Now, if you use Placidus house system, I do as well, and that's why I deliver the forecast in the way that I do. To do this, we'll want to find where specifically you have 21 degrees Taurus within your chart. And this may be the same as your listed ascendant sign, and this may be different than your listed ascendant sign. So what we'll do is we'll go to astro.com. I'm showing you an example on screen. After inputting your birth information, you will get a picture like this. Amazing. This is your celestial blueprint. You'll want to find the Taurus glyph. It's green in astro.com. It looks like this. Line to line, this is the Taurus section of the sky. And if you look towards the inner ring by the little circle, you'll see little numbers. This represents houses, aka life arenas. So you can either listen to all of the houses that the Taurus section of the sky expands through. So with this example, you can listen to the 9th house and the 10th house, or we'll want to find where exactly 21 degrees Taurus lands in within your chart. So to do this, we'll want to find where Taurus begins. So Taurus begins where Aries ends. So find the Aries glyph. It looks like this. I'm circling it on screen. It's red in Astro. And here is 0 degrees Taurus as it's right by that Aries section. Amazing. So these little grid marks indicate increments of 5. So it goes 5, 10, 15, 20. So this represents 20 degrees Taurus. This conjunction aligns at 21 degrees Taurus. So we know this grid mark that indicates 20 degrees Taurus is going to be really close to 21 degrees Taurus. You can go to the inner ring and we see within inner planet Janet's example, we see this conjunction aligns within her 9th house. Advance to the 9th house reading, that would be your reading. Let's say you're inner planet Janet in this case, and you're like, but Haley Comet, it could be in the 9th house, it could be in the 10th house. I can't tell for sure. To be able to distinguish the difference, you will want to hit the button that says Additional Tables PDF on astro.com. To the right-hand side, this gives you a table that lets you know where exactly every house begins in Placidus house system. So here we see MC, aka the beginning of the 10th house, begins at 24 degrees Taurus. If this conjunction aligns at 21 degrees Taurus, we know that occurs before 24 degrees, so it must be in the 9th house. So I would advance to that reading. So now that we have figured out what life arena is being electrified by this Jupiter-Uranus conjunction, let's go ahead and take it into our house by house analysis. If the Jupiter-Uranus conjunction aligns in the first house of your astrological natal chart, this message is for you. You may potentially be a Taurus Ascendant, or you may just have 21 degrees Taurus in the first house. Either way, you are experiencing this cosmic disruption around how it is that you see yourself and how the world sees you. First house, where this conjunction is concentrated in for you, is all about self-identity and appearance. So the first theme that's coming through for you around this conjunction is you could be innovating your sense of self. There could have been long-standing ways that you've seen yourself, even identified yourself, and there is this cosmic surge of energy that is electrifying your perspective to start widening what it is that you expect from yourself. It's really asking, how do you identify yourself, and is it true to you? This can be a time in which you are open to new ways of being, new ways of identifying, new ways of interacting with this world, or potentially even disrupting ways that you've seen yourself that's held yourself back. Like really, when we get into what this conjunction is all about, it's about growth, unusual growth with the energy of Uranus, but it's about growth. And so you can find like seeing myself as just this, or seeing myself as being bad at this, or only identifying myself as this is actually hindering my growth. It's time to widen my perception of self. And for some of you, I see that you could be shaking things up at this time. This could show up within your physical appearance. This is interesting as I'm talking to a lot of Taurus risings, and Taurus is an energy that is fixed earth. So it's very solid, and typically Taurus placements do have a very defined aesthetic, very defined preferences. And this is a time you could be surprising yourself. You could be trying on new ways of expressing yourself. You could be trying on new ways of being. You could be trying on new ways of doing your hair and makeup. And it's feeling true to you. Like that's the very nature of Uranus, is questioning conventional. And so maybe if you felt like you had to dress a certain way or be seen a certain way, or you were trying to follow trends, there can be an energy currently awakening within you around just wanting to be who it is that you are and carry yourself in the way that feels aligned and good for you. And I feel very strongly that a lot of you are liberating yourself from caring what other people have to say about you. Like for some of you, maybe that's been something that's held you back and it's been blocking your growth forward, is caring what other people have to say and not wanting to be weird. And there's just this aha moment occurring for you in April 2024 around honoring how much that's been holding you back. And no longer caring, being like, whatever, they'll get it eventually. That's what's fun about Uranus energy, is that it can be a trendsetter, but it's like what we consider a trend in the future is considered weird in the present moment. So you could be trying on new ways of being or identifying or putting together your aesthetic that people might consider weird now, but catch them in a year, okay? You're setting trends just by being authentically yourself, and you're releasing what other people have to say about it. This will only be a message for a couple of you, but for some of you, I see this liberation is taking place in regards to your body. Like for some of you, you could have felt like you were in battle with your body, whether it was trying to restrict or just trying to make sure that you looked a certain way. And with this Jupiter-Uranus, it's no longer caring, it's giving up the battle, it's taking this off the pedestal, where you're just wanting to show up and operate in this world in the most authentic ways to you. And you are no longer spending energy trying to fit into a mold. I see that can be the case for some. For others of you, I see there can be an aha or an epiphany around your physical upkeep in some case. So some of you could be getting into skincare. Some of you could be getting into bodybuilding. Some of you could be dyeing your hair a funky color. Like some of you are thinking outside of the box. You're doing something different in order to feel like your outer vessel is in alignment with your soul. And some of you could be having some sort of nutritional breakthrough with this aligning in Taurus around how to care and keep for your physical body. And I do want to highlight here, because I think it can be confusing, the differences between the first house of body and the sixth house of health. First house has to do with our body, right? So that's where you can have this kind of genius out of the box thinking, but it's more so around our physique. It's more so around what people see of it. Whereas sixth house is like the prevention of illness kind of energy around health and body. So where it's concentrated for you is around how it is that you put yourself together, what is seen of you. Some of you could be even getting a new tattoo. And when that's weird, you could be rebelling via your physicality. Some of you have either grown up in an environment, or maybe you're, graduating from a certain chapter of your life where someone was telling you how to dress or telling you how to wear or how to be. And there's just this rebelling energy where you're just like, forget that. I want to express myself in the ways that feel good, even if it's weird. So those are some themes of how this conjunction can electrify your world. But I do want to make it very clear that first house is the house of self. So it's like you are being more electric. You are more unpredictable. You are more eccentric. Uranus can be this live wire energy. And so you could be feeling more restless. You could be like kind of buzzing with this nervous energy. There could be something alive within you that you're wanting to do something different. And this is so interesting because a lot of you are Taurus risings, which is an energy, as I highlighted earlier, that typically prefers stability. And this is a time in which stability could feel to be the enemy. Like you're really wanting to redirect yourself to be on the growth path. And you're open to new experiences and new opportunities that will support you on this growth path. So this is a time that you're open. You're open to new perspectives. You're open to new spiritual beliefs. You're open to new opportunities that will help you grow in a new, novel, authentic way. If the Jupiter-Uranus conjunction aligns in the second house of your astrological natal chart, this message is for you. You may potentially be an Aries Ascendant. You may just have 21 degrees Taurus located within your second house. Either way, you are having an electrifying breakthrough around finances. So with Jupiter and Uranus getting together here, you more so than anyone else are more likely to receive unexpected finances and unexpected unexpected bonus, unexpected commission, unexpected check in the mail. There could be money that just randomly comes into your experience. Now, it's important to highlight, okay, before you go and buy the yacht and make all of these impulsive purchases, you know, Jupiter is the planet of excess and Uranus is the planet of unpredictability. So some of you could feel impulsively drawn to wanting to buy something new, particularly if there is some random surge of money coming in. But before you do that, do know that second house doesn't necessarily just indicate income. It can also indicate expenses. So you can have a random unexpected bill come into your experience. I don't want anyone to be in fear around this energy. It's just important to note that Uranus is not necessarily positive nor negative. So this could be winning the lottery, or this could be having to buy a new radiator. Like when it comes to Uranus, expect the unexpected, especially as it relates to finances. So even though you could be feeling this restless urge around wanting to spend money on something, definitely be mindful during this time. Now, what I will say is some of you can have an idea or an opportunity of something that's going to make you a lot of money, okay? A lot of money. And it could even be quick money with the energy of Uranus. You know, I'm not a proponent in get rich quick. It isn't Taurus after all, which is about slow and steady. But what I mean by quick is that the energy of Uranus can be unexpected gains. And so you could invest in a new industry that's growing very rapidly. You can have an idea of something that will innovate a certain space. You could have an idea around how to manage your money in a way that will allow it to grow on a quicker trajectory. There can even be certain electrifying changes that you are initiating around your banking, around your investment strategy, around your finances, both how you bring them in and how you continue to allow them to grow. Again, even though we've got Jupiter and Uranus, it's in Taurus after all. So there is an emphasis around balancing the novel new opportunities that can be coming into your experience, new financial opportunities, new jobs, new ways to expand income. If you're a business owner, you can experience a random spike in purchases. With the energy of Taurus, continue to think slowly and steadily. Don't just spend money right when it comes in. Think long term. Think around how you can maximize this spike that this transit can bring your way so that you can continue to accumulate and grow your finances. Definitely with this energy of Uranus, be open to new. Okay, be open to new. I'm not saying sign on for a get rich quick scheme. Okay, I'm just saying if you're a business owner, really contemplate how it is that you can scale potentially, how it is that you can multiply your time and energy, making more while potentially doing less, right? Taurus is a sign that's very much work smarter and not harder. And so some of you could be widening your thinking around your pricing in some regard. If you work at a 9 to 5, like this could be a time of, like I said, an unexpected bonus, or potentially new financial opportunities coming your way. Like stay open for opportunities to potentially change jobs if you do feel undervalued within your current position. Also, if some of you have been trying to make a significant purchase, this could be the lucky random break that you have been waiting for to finally have the right offer at the right pricing at the right time. So outside of financial implications, let's widen the scope of second house, because second house is also self-esteem. And I really see this energy of some of you awakening your perspective of yourself and starting to more deeply value yourself, or even electrify the who you feel like you've had to be for other people. Like some of you are seeing your worth around just being wholly and authentically yourself and releasing caring about what other people have to say about it. Some of you could be having this awakening experience in April 2024 around starting to really deeply love, value, and appreciate yourself and growing in that way. I also see there can be awakenings around finances. Maybe it doesn't show up within your actual bank account, but there's like a expanded perspective. So for some of you, I'm feeling into, some of you have been working and working and working and the money has never felt to be enough. And there's like this awakening with the energy of Uranus around, what am I working so hard for? Why am I not taking time to enjoy life? Like some of you are expanding your perspective on finances. Some of you can have an aha moment around ways to better manage your finances, invest your finances, earn more finances. And again, this could be showing up within your physical reality or within your own mentality, how that shows up around money, what it is that you value. I see some people are taking money off the pedestal. Some of you could be selling a lot of belongings with Jupiter, Uranus. Some of you could be rebelling for the causes that you are passionate about via your finances, like protesting against the company whose values do not align with yours and investing very intentionally in the companies that you do believe in. If the Jupiter-Uranus conjunction aligns within the 3rd house of your astrological natal chart, this message is for you. You may potentially be a Pisces Ascendant, or you just have 21 degrees Taurus located within the 3rd house. Either way, this reading is for you. And you are having the eureka moment in the zodiac. You are having the aha, I've got it, I've found it. You are having some very innovative ideas happening right now. And it's really important to honor that this conjunction aligns in Taurus, okay? So some of us are going to have our Jupiter-Uranus blessings in blooms, and some of you are going to have it in seeds, right? Like we don't physically see it yet, but it's the potential. And some of you have an award-winning book in your head. Some of you have a podcast that's going to earn you lots of money conceptualized here, right? Some of you have the bare bones outline of your next business within your journal. Like some of you are having the seeds of something that can be very abundant and lucrative and send your journey on a new positive direction. And I feel it's starting as an idea, okay? It's starting as an idea with this energy, and it can be something that really propels your growth forward. So I would definitely say if this conjunction lands here, be open to the novel ideas. Again, if you keep doing what it is that you've been doing, you'll keep getting what it is that you've been getting. And you, more so than any other sign in the zodiac, need to be thinking outside of the box during this time. And if you're feeling uninspired, be around some new environments. You know, 3rd house happens to govern short-term journeys. So take a trip to a town near you. Like see some different stimuli to start inspiring some new ideas. Listen to new podcasts, read new books. Think outside of the box. There's a statistic around how many thoughts that we have every day that are just repeats from yesterday. I'll put it right here because I always forget the number. But so many of our thoughts that we think are the same as the day prior and the day before. It's like these very fixed grooves of thinking. And I see with Jupiter Uranus, some of you are having an aha light bulb moment from fixed ways of viewing the world. And, you know, some of you, I see that there's like new idea coming through, right? There's a book, there's a podcast, there's like a marketing strategy. You're wanting to start social media. There's something like that coming through. And again, with Uranus energy, weirder the better. Okay, weirder the better, more authentic to you the better. And you know, Uranus governs restlessness. So some of you are just kind of getting sick with your inner dialogue and you're ready to shake things up. You're ready to no longer hold yourself back from new opportunities because of your internal landscape. Like I see for just a couple of you, this won't be for everybody, but some of you, if you're naturally more of a shy person, this can be a time that you're liberating yourself from caring what other people think of you and your communication style. With this landing in the 3rd house, some of you are just honoring, yeah, my mind works differently than other people. My communication works differently than other people. And that's a good thing. I'm out of the box. I'm not here to fit into a mold. And that's where my genius is. Like Uranus is the archetype of the genius and also the weirdo, because those are so often the same thing. So often the same thing. It's the people who dare to think differently, talk differently, that enact change, that disrupt, that create inventions that echo out throughout history, that create works and books and studies that continue to grow in relevance even years later. It's the people who are ahead of their time, because Uranus is the planet of the future. So I just see with Uranus, Jupiter, you could be ahead of your time. Like you could feel like you don't have that much in common with the people that you converse with day to day, or you can feel like you're weird, your ideas are weird, but there's like a liberation taking place with this energy where you're freeing yourself from what other people have to say and you're sharing your own truth boldly. And this is the house of marketing, of sales, of PR. So if you happen to work in one of those industries, you can most certainly observe spikes. You know, you could go viral, you could have more attention around your words and what it is that you are communicating. You could have inspired ideas as it relates to your marketing, as it relates to your social media. Just know that you are not here to do what everybody else does. I know that like sometimes being on social media, it can make you feel like you have to follow those trends. But particularly with this aligning together, I'm seeing that a lot of you are stepping into a very authentic voice that's going to be purely you. And that's why you're going to be a trailblazer, and that's why you're going to be a thought leader. That's why you're going to really have something to say, is because you're not doing what everybody else is doing. And that's powerful. And I just see some of you are liberating yourself from caring. You know, if you haven't put yourself out there on social media, or you haven't been marketing your business, like with Jupiter, Uranus, it could just be like, to have the growth that I want, I'm going to have to put myself out there. And to put myself out there, I'm going to have to stop caring. And maybe that's the mindset shift around realizing, hey, everybody's thinking about themselves. Nobody's thinking about me. So let me just share openly and authentically. Some of you could be rebelling against a sibling. Some of you could be rebelling against a neighbor. I know that's random, but it needs to be said. With Jupiter, Uranus, there could be an energy around just wanting to own your own self and your own perspective as well. This is the sector that has to do with communication, which could really impact any sort of powerful interpersonal connection within your life. But most notably, this is the house of extended family members, neighbors, siblings. But with Jupiter, Uranus, you're wanting to communicate authentically, even if it's perceived as weird. You're wanting to be honest with what it is that you value. And what I'm also seeing here is that there can be this, you want to be honest with what it is that you value. And third house also governs skill sets. And so Jupiter, Uranus, some of you could get like a random epiphany, like I want to knit or I want to ice skate. Follow those nudges. Some of you could purchase a car or something else around transportation around this time. There could be a random occurrence that pushes you towards buying this car. There could be something unexpected that happens around transportation. You could get an unexpected opportunity to take a small trip somewhere. Again, this is short journeys. So somewhere that's a little close to your vicinity. And even if you don't get an opportunity, take a journey, get out of your own fixed grooves of behavior, see some new sights, think some new thoughts, have some new conversations. Like I've mentioned, a lot of epiphanies coming from within, but you can also have certain breakthroughs by what other people say to you. Like third house is about both transmitting and receiving information. So there could be something that somebody says to you that creates this aha that electrifies your perspective, that then in turn changes everything. So be open to the new and the novel at this time. If the Jupiter-Uranus conjunction aligns in the fourth house of your astrological natal chart, this reading is for you. This may indicate that you are an Aquarius rising, or you may just have 21 degrees Taurus in your fourth house. Either way, the emphasis for you with this shocking alignment in the cosmos is all around home, family, and emotional state. Some of you are moving. Okay, some of you are moving, and I see particularly with this happening in a fixed sign. This could have been a move that you've been wanting for a long time. You could have been trying to purchase a house or trying to make something happen, and then finally, by a stroke of luck and a stroke of magic, the perfect place falls into your lap, or the perfect accelerant that pushes you into finally making the move that maybe you've wanted for a long time, but finally Jupiter-Uranus is the propellant that kind of makes you move towards that. I'd shared earlier that a friend of mine had moved to a city. She was there and she was like, this doesn't feel how I thought that it would. And then her house ended up getting a cricket infestation, or the apartment rather. And then that forced her to move and her lease to be terminated due to how severe the cricket infestation was. And listen, I'm not saying any of you are going to have a cricket infestation, but it's important if something does happen that kind of pushes you out of your current residence. It's important to be open because, again, with Uranus, sometimes the luck comes through in ways that can seem very unlucky. Like cricket infestation, you could be like, oh, I'm so unlucky. I move here and there's a cricket infestation, but maybe this is the push towards the growth that you've been craving and chasing, right? So I do want to say that while this energy could manifest for some of you as like, oh my gosh, we finally found the right house at the right price, what a stroke of good luck, some of the good luck could show up in a way that seems unlucky to a surface level around, gosh, like this job that I thought that I was going to have didn't work out and now I may have to move. Like allow yourself to play in the realm of what if everything is working out for me? No matter how weird or unexpected of what's happening right now, especially as it relates to your residence, play in the realm around what if this is working out for my highest and best good. Now, not everybody's moving, don't worry, but some of you could be craving change around your home. Maybe this isn't the month that you're moving, but this is the time in which that seed's being planted around, gosh, I would love to live somewhere with more space where my dog has a backyard. I would love to live in a different state. Maybe you're having an epiphany around, I don't want to be here anymore. Like it's time for me to move. And it's not that you need to right now. You know, sometimes Uranus energy, it's kind of live wire energy. You can feel very restless around wanting to change something right now and feeling like very unsettled in our current environment. I'm not saying everybody needs to move, but definitely research, put feelers out there, be open to changing your physical residence and your physical environment, whether that's via physically moving or starting to research or dive into where could I move, or what changes do I want within my current residence? Do I want a book nook? I just made a book nook. I love it. I recommend everybody get a book nook, but alas, maybe I want a book nook. Maybe I want a window seat. Maybe I want to renovate my kitchen. Maybe there's something that I'm feeling called to disrupt around my physical residence. For those of you who have roommates, this can be a time in which you are either standing up for yourself. You could be rebelling if something is felt not fair. Some of you could have a change of roommate. Some of you, Uranus tends to be very solitary energy. So some of you could be living alone, maybe for the first time, and having that autonomy around, wow, I can live in the ways that I want to. This feels so good. Some of you, if you've been trying to sell a property for a long time, this can be the energy around finally being able to sell it. And with the energy of Uranus, it could be, an unexpectedly high price. Uranus isn't necessarily always a positive. There could be an expensive expense that comes up around a residence. You could sell a house at a shockingly lower number than you were anticipating. Uranus energy definitely is expect the unexpected. Now, outside of the home significations, this is also family. So some of you where you're stepping into this rebellion energy is around your family. And I'm seeing family values coming up because Taurus has to do with values. So maybe there are certain things that your family values that with this energy, you're like, that's not a value that I have. Let's say, as an example, your parents have always pushed you, like the most important thing is to own a house. The most important thing is to own a house. And with Jupiter Uranus, you're like, listen, it's just not feasible within this modern day and age. It's not a value that I hold. Like, I don't want to be maintaining my house on the weekends. Like, no, thank you. Just because it's a value of those who came before me doesn't mean that needs to be a value for myself personally. Like, some of you could be pushing it back against values that don't feel true to you and to your journey. You could be rebelling in a certain essence. And again, you could be rebelling around your family's expectations of you. Maybe you're choosing to raise your family in a different way than you were raised. Uranus is to thine own self be true energy. And with the energy of Jupiter, you're feeling optimistic about the ways that you're wanting to raise your family, as well as just run your life. Like when we talk about fourth house, it's very foundational. It's a very sacred territory of the chart. And with the energy of Jupiter here, you're really valuing your own freedom. And you're really rebelling against anything that's challenging your freedom just to be you and move in the direction of what has value for you. Not all of you, but a lot of you that I'm talking to right now are Aquarius rising. So you're very rebellious to begin with. And that could absolutely be heightened during this time. You could really be just resisting against anything that's expected of you from society if it doesn't feel in alignment with what it is that you want out of life and what makes you happy. Because fourth house is emotional state. So I see for some of you, you are liberating yourself from emotions. And I know that sounds strange. You're still feeling, but if there are certain emotional patterns or something you've been holding on to, with Jupiter and Uranus, you could just find that randomly things that used to hurt you badly don't hurt anymore. That's what's so strange about healing, is that you're like in agony and heartache, going through it. And then one day you wake up and you don't have this weight in your chest and you're like, whoa, I can breathe again. Hold on. I haven't thought about this person in like 24 hours. I haven't thought about this situation in like 72. Like it happens slowly and then all at once, right? The process of healing and liberating yourself from something that could have felt very emotionally heavy for yourself. I'm just seeing you can have unexpected gains or unexpected liberation from certain emotional disturbances, or even just certain ways of emotionally regulating yourself. You can have certain things that you're doing for yourself within your sacred environment that are helping you to proceed forward in a more open way. That's like supporting your growth. You're no longer wanting to hold on to the past. Like, Uranus is about the future. So there can be just an energy coming into your emotional landscape where you're finally feeling like it's safe for you to be excited by things or excited by life or optimistic around what's going to be in store for you. And I just see it's kind of charging your emotional landscape with this excitement, But for some of you, it could be coming through in this restlessness. You could just be like wanting something different, craving something different, and almost feel like a live wire around wanting to find it and claim it. Definitely observe where it is that you are craving growth, but remember to pour into what's within. Again, sometimes Uranus energy makes us want to change things within our external landscape, but particularly with this conjunction landing in a very private portion of your chart, it's important to remind yourself, like wherever it is that you go, there you are. So there is an energy around finding that sensation of being home within yourself. Yes, you can still change and be open to shifts, but it's not feeling that what's happening out there will free what's happening within. It's finding this freedom to be you, to live your life in the way that you want to free yourself from emotional patterns that's happening from within, and that may echo out into your external environment. It's not that changing your external environment is going to shift what's happening within. That's important to keep in mind with this conjunction. If the Jupiter-Uranus conjunction aligns within the 5th house of your astrological natal chart, this reading is for you. You may be a Capricorn rising, you may just have 21 degrees Taurus in the 5th house. Either way, it's time to think outside of the box when it comes to your creative ideas. 5th house, when we distill it, it really is the house of birth. It's the house of children, but also the creative projects that we birth out into the world. You know, when you work on like a novel or a painting or a song and you're like, that's my baby, right? Because there is a gestation period to it. You pour into it and you create something. 5th house is about how it is that we push out into the world, how it is that we create. And with these two getting together, you can be a conduit for some otherworldly ideas during this time, things that other people are not conceptualizing. Uranus is not a planet about following trends, it is about starting them. So especially if you consider yourself a creative individual, this is not the time to see what's doing well on the algorithm. This is not the time to look at what your competitors are doing. This is the time to get weird with it. Think outside of the box. Allow your creativity to be as authentic as you are. That's where the genius energy of Uranus will behoove you at this time. And again, you could be putting out a project into the world that is unexpected, that is out of the box, that sets trends of some nature, or there could just be the seed, right? Planting of an idea, getting a download of a creative idea that you would like to push out into the world. It could either be the blooms of Jupiter Uranus, like seeing externally the rewards of putting this creative project out into the world, or for some of you, it's just starting small. It's just an idea. And with it in Taurus, it's a seed that you have to plant and you have to water in order for it to bloom beautifully. And some of you could experience unexpected upticks as it relates to your statistics. If you're a musician, you could find that a song randomly goes viral or starts doing very well. If you're a painter, you could have unexpected opportunities to get your artwork out there. Expect the unexpected, especially if you are wanting to grow your self-expression. And potentially, some of you could shift it in a new direction. You could be going through a rebrand as an artist, as a creative. And even if you don't consider yourself an artist or a creative, this aspect may be nudging you to start. You don't have to be a musician or a painter to be a creative person, to make your life a work of art. And this could be a time in which you get epiphanies or downloads of creative new ideas. You can live your life in a creative way. You can express yourself in a creative way. You can decorate your home in a creative way. And this is a time in which you could be really thinking outside of the box and expressing yourself in ways that feel like you. Some of you at this time could find a new hobby, one that electrifies your mind and expands your perspective, and that could add a lot into your life. Now, I do want to highlight, some of you may conceive during this time, and that may be unexpected. Okay, I don't want to scare anyone if that's not where you're at. Okay, but with the energy of Uranus, I would just definitely say, if you're not wanting that at this juncture of your life, maybe exert a little bit more caution, because Jupiter is about growth, Uranus is unexpected growth. So there definitely could be unexpected conception. For some of you, with this aligning in a fixed sign, maybe you've been trying for a long time, and maybe some of you have even given up hope. Like with Jupiter Uranus, there can be an unexpected ray of faith or an unexpected development occurring within your fertility journey. Now, outside of conception, some of you can be liberating yourself from certain perceptions of children. Maybe you used to want children, or you were expected to have children, and this Jupiter-Uranus is empowering you to realize, like, just because that's the typical way doesn't mean that needs to be my way. You know, some of you could be even contemplating different ways that you may want to start a family, like adoption or fostering or things of that nature. Not the conventional path, but a noble path, all the same. Like, some of you could be thinking out of the box in that regard. You know, fifth house is about this idea of birthing something, and that could be showing up within a creative project, that could be showing up within a child, certainly. Some of you could be giving birth to a new hobby that's going to add to your life. You know, fifth house is very fun. So some of you could be in the mood to have fun in April 2024 and beyond. You could be saying yes to things you typically say no to, saying yes to parties that you typically say no to, saying yes to dates that you typically say no to. Some of you are going on a date with a weirdo. But here is a hot tip. Weirdos are where it's at, okay? If you're not dating a weirdo, I don't know what you're on, because weirdos are where it's at. So with Jupiter Uranus, you could be going on a date with somebody who's, you know, out there or eccentric or different, and they could really expand your perception. You know, some of you may have not been dating, and it's very unlike you to say yes to a date. There could be a very spontaneous, you know, love offer coming in from somebody that you did not anticipate nor expect. But really, with this alignment, be open to creative ideas, not just that come from you, but come through you. Like, Uranus is otherworldly ideas that you're like, was that from outer space? Like, this is so bizarre. Have you ever witnessed art like that, where you're like, how did this person conceptualize this? Like, be open to just random ahas and epiphanies and even visions of what it is that you want to create. And ultimately, just allow this electrifying, exciting conjunction to make you excited about life again, to have more fun with life, to have more fun with expressing yourself, to have more fun with dating and flirting. If the Jupiter-Uranus conjunction lands within the 6th house of your astrological natal chart, this message is for you. You may potentially be a Sagittarius rising. You may potentially just have 21 degrees Taurus in the 6th house. Either way, your lucky break energy is concentrated around day to day. It's important to note that while this can be a very lucky, abundant, expansive, aha sort of energy, this sort of lucky break could show up in very small ways, especially based on where it is located within your chart. Before you click away and feel disappointed, because, you know, a lot of you are Sagittarius risings, like, this is your ruler aligning with Uranus. This is definitely a transit you want to dial into. Just know that sometimes big changes show up in small ways, and this doesn't need to be a new house and going viral and winning a Nobel Peace Prize to still create significant effects within your life. With this energy, with Jupiter Uranus, some of you could be having an aha as it relates to work. Not how you are seen within the public eye, but the actual act of work, like what it is that you put in. You could have innovative ideas around how to streamline. You know, if you work for yourself, you could be integrating some sort of new technology that helps you to work smarter and not harder, right? That's very much a Uranian concept. I would be a little cautious because at the moment of this conjunction, Mercury is retrograde. So maybe be cautious when instilling a new technology, but there could be a new way of going about your work that can lead you to claim back some of your time. I see that with Jupiter there. Like, you could find a new way to do things, not cutting corners, not being lazy, but a way to do something that could simplify and streamline so that you can get more of your time back and be able to have more space in your world. I'm seeing that's coming through. Now, for some, there is an aha moment coming in around your health. Like, if there has been something that you've been battling, that you've been looking for answers, like Uranus is that discovery. Like, think of the mad genius archetype, right? The one who's like finally like, Eureka, I've got it, I've found it, I've found the formula. That's Uranus energy. And so with Jupiter Uranus, you could finally get an epiphany, an aha, some test results that actually give you answers that allow you to grow forward. Like, again, Jupiter is about growth. And if you feel feel like you've been investing all this energy in your health, trying to figure out what's wrong, what am I eating that's creating problems. With Jupiter Uranus, there can be a sudden aha or epiphany that's helping you grow forward and helping you feel better within your body and helping you move towards a direction of health. Some of you could be trying a new exercise routine that you love, right? That is very enjoyable to you. You know, some of you could even get a new position. Like I said, if you do happen to be a Sagittarius rising, this is your ruler aligning with Uranus. You're definitely going to feel this influence. And the energy of Uranus is about being open to the new. Be open to life surprising you. And so with the energy of 6th house, you know, you could get a new work opportunity. You could be pursuing a new work opportunity. You could have a new coworker of some sort. You could be open to new ways to go about work. You could even be contemplating a career change, a different way that you are wanting to be of service. Be open to the new. And with this in the sector of routine, be open to shaking up your routine. Again, sometimes the smallest differences can create big results, because a lot of times when we're craving change within our experience, we're waiting for our external to shift, right? We're waiting for something different to show up here. A lot of times it comes from within. And a lot of times as you're waiting for that dream career to land on your doorstep and that dream partner to knock at your front door, a lot of times when you're waiting on your world to change, you're disempowering yourself as a co-creator. And sometimes it's not about your world looking differently. It's sometimes about you looking differently out at your world, being able to see new potentials and new opportunities. And what I want to say for you is that with this in the 6th house, try a new routine. Wake up earlier than you typically do. Take a walk before work. Go to the beach after work. Like, find ways to shake up your routine, because you might be like, Haley, Comet, my life's not going to change if I decide to drive to the beach after work. You never know when driving to the beach after work and looking at the ocean, you get an inspired idea. You get a sudden aha. You get a sudden epiphany. I really want you to think about this for a moment, like a moment when you had an aha moment, a very poignant moment. It probably happened when you were doing something typical, when you were cleaning, when you were in the shower, that you had a moment that you were like, oh, that's what I want to do, or oh, that's what's missing from my life, or oh, that's what I want to try, or oh, that's a solution to this ongoing problem. A lot of times magic shows up in the mundane. So part of Jupiter Uranus is being open for light bulb moments, even in the mundane act of you living your life, of you going to work, of you going to the gym, of you taking care of your pets, being open to the new. And it can show up around new ways to go about this, you know, new exercise routine, new work in some way, new coworker, new routine. But it can also show up around the epiphanies that come your way as you are embarking upon your routine. So be open to both. If the Jupiter-Uranus conjunction aligns in the 7th house of your astrological natal chart, this message is for you. You may potentially be a Scorpio rising. You may potentially just have 21 degrees Taurus in the 7th house. Either way, it's time for you to expect the unexpected as it relates to your relationships and partnerships. You know, when it comes to people who tend to enter a universe during Uranus transits, it may not always be necessarily like life partner, like our rock, someone that we can always count on, but it typically is somebody who is very instrumental in your journey. I just want you to think of, you know, friends that you've had or people that you've dated who just awakened something in you, who sent you on your spiritual journey, who awakened a new desire within you, who shone a spotlight on some aspect of yourself that you did not realize. Like, that person might not be within your world currently, but weren't they an instrumental part of your journey thus far? I've shared before in my weekly horoscope, Magic Monday, I've told the story of this individual that I met at a music festival. And when we met, we didn't even exchange real names, you know, how festivals go. We didn't even exchange real names. And I didn't know who this person was, like, out into the world. And so we had this like magical weekend together, and as we like integrated back into our real lives, I learned that this person is this major founder, like technology founder, CEO, and our lifestyles were much different. Like, I was early in my 20s teaching yoga, living in an apartment with a roommate, and this person was the wealthiest person I'd ever met. And this person was the most wealthy, powerful person I'd ever met. So there's definitely a power dynamic. That person definitely was not my forever, my happily ever after. But I really appreciate that connection because I never thought that I could be self-employed before I met that person. And I like learned so much about how he created his company and just even his lifestyle, how he operated his day-to-day, just by nature of my connection with him. Like, I think a lot of times when something doesn't work out, we're like, oh, that was such a waste of time. But sometimes people awaken something in us. Like, I never knew that I would be able to do something like that. And I honestly learned so much data through watching his journey and seeing his lifestyle and how it is that he conducted himself day to day. It awakened something in me. Obviously, I'm not a tech CEO, but it shone a spotlight around, no, I could take charge of my own destiny career-wise, and maybe I could live a life in which I start my own business. Like, I don't know if I would be here, honestly, had I not connected with that person. And that's the sort of energy of Uranus type people. It's like that lightning bolt, just like pure electric chemistry. And it's hard to sustain, you know, electricity within a connection or chemistry within a connection. Like, some of you could be connecting with someone where it's just like, you know, surges of electricity through your veins. And, you know, I'm talking to a lot of Scorpio risings, and I know that you all do like to kind of like merge with the person that you're dating or that you're connecting with. But there's an aspect with Jupiter Uranus around allowing this person, but there's an aspect with this conjunction to allow this person to electrify you and your growth potential and the direction that you want your life to go, and allow this person to reflect to you where it is that you want growth within your world. I can even shine a spotlight or just awaken certain aspects of you. We have to keep in mind whenever something is in the 7th house, it's opposing the 1st house of self. So it's like, by nature of you interacting with people who might be novel or different or out of the box, it could shine a different spotlight on you. You know, Uranus energy can be very electric. It could be very strong chemistry. So I definitely feel that some of you could be meeting somebody who you have instantaneous electric chemistry with. And it's important not to cling to that person. Like, the energy of Uranus to a certain degree is about detachment. There is an ask with Jupiter Uranus around letting people be who it is that they are and letting yourself be who it is that you are. You cannot control people. And Uranus energy makes that very clear. It's the energy of the rebel, of someone who thinks outside of the box and behaves outside of the box. And so whether this is meeting somebody where there's a degree of detachment, you don't totally have them. They could be somebody who's electrifying your perspective or inspiring you quite a bit, but there's an energy around they're not fully in your grasp. And there's an ask, and it could be a growth or a teaching opportunity. You know, Jupiter is a professor after all. There could be a teaching opportunity around what it means to connect with somebody without controlling them or without trying to diminish their freedom or trying to make them be someone that they are not. Like, asking for this Uranus energy around, as I allow you to be who it is that you are, and as I allow myself to be who it is that I am, we create the potential for our connection to honestly flourish, right? Within our own individuality, within our own authenticity. Now, for those of you who are coupled, with this energy of Jupiter Uranus, you or your partner could be craving more space. And again, I don't want you to feel that space is a bad thing. Like, I don't know why, but I'm getting a feeling that a lot of you may have like anxious attachment or something of that nature. That'll just be for a couple of you, but it's coming through strong. There's an energy around when you feel someone pull back, it makes you nervous, so you want to go in deeper. And with the energy of Jupiter Uranus, it's allowing people to have the space to miss you, to have the space to be themselves, to allow them to have the space to do your own thing, knowing that that makes the connection stronger. And so this restlessness could be coming on your side. You could be craving more space to do your own thing, to be your own person. Not everybody, but some of you may be craving a breakup during this time. You could be feeling restless within your connection. And, you know, Jupiter is about growth and Uranus is about change. So there could be a truth that you are facing during this time around, you know, I'm not growing within this connection any longer, and it's time for me to grow on my own. And that call for freedom could be showing up within your connections, within your relationships. Some of you might even be contemplating different ways of relating. Like, you might be open to an open relationship of some sort. You could be challenging what's conventional to a certain degree, like thinking about how people typically approach relationships and being like, F that, that's not how we want to relate. That's not the relationship that we need to have. And allowing that to be the case, you know, with Uranus in the 7th, again, this is transiting, but when I see this natally in a lot of my clients' charts, sometimes they'll have unusual relationships. They'll live apart. They'll have multiple partners. They have different rules. And that's okay because it's what works for them. Like, the energy of Uranus, it's starting to challenge what the status quo is, and if you want that to be the status quo within your relationship. Even if you're single, if you find that you are drawn to the same people and you're not pleased with the results that you've been getting, this is a time to shake it up. Say yes to somebody you typically say no to. Think about who you're expected to date and date someone different than that. You could be interacting with somebody who's unpredictable or genius or intelligent or into technology or into science, like somebody who feels out of this world to a certain degree with this energy of Jupiter Uranus. Like, say yes to things that you would say no to. Jupiter Uranus can be a very spontaneous energy. And there definitely can be a call for freedom, you know, with the energy of it being in the 7th house. And that could show up around a contract. If some of you have been stuck in a contract that has felt stifling, this could provide a lucky break for you to have some freedom over a contract or a business partnership that is not serving you any longer. Definitely a time to be open to people surprising you, you know. I will say with the energy of Uranus, sometimes there can be surprises we're not necessarily thrilled by, you know, like our partner deciding that they want to go in a different direction, or our partner behaving a little bit more unpredictably, but continue to rest in the knowing that, you know, while Uranus can be unexpected surprises, with the energy of Jupiter, whatever is transpiring around this time is supporting growth. And we cannot sustain a relationship by betraying certain aspects of ourselves. So for some of you, if your partner comes to you and is like, you know, I feel like I've been living a lie, this is how I really feel, or this is what I really want, as painful as it can be, you have to allow people the space to grow. It frees yourself to grow as well. We cannot compromise on our own growth in order to fit within the confines of a relationship. So that could also be something that you are pondering with this alignment. If the Jupiter-Uranus conjunction on April 20th, 2024 lands in the 8th house of your astrological natal chart, this message is for you. You may be a Libra rising. You may just have 21 degrees Taurus in the 8th house. Either way, Uranus and Jupiter are electrifying and shaking up the 8th house, which, if you know astrology, you know 8th house expands wide and goes deep. So let's get into the many different manifestations that this transit can bring. First, I want to say that if you are married or you have any sort of shared resources with somebody, there could be unexpected gains coming to you from others. So your spouse could get a random raise that brings in way more money. You could get an unexpected inheritance of some sort. There could be an unexpected surge in alimony or child support or any other support that comes to you via others. Your job with this Jupiter-Uranus conjunction isn't to focus on the how random money could be coming into your experience. Simply just be open to random money coming into your experience. 8th house is sort of the trust fall house. We cannot control the matters of the 8th house. We cannot control other people's money and their support of us. But with Jupiter-Uranus, other people's resources and support can lead to unexpected gains. But it's going to show up in random ways with the energy of Uranus. You know, a random lawsuit that your husband's workplace was involved in that leads to this major payout, or some random trust that your grandma left you like years ago. Again, I know 8th house sometimes can promote some fear because one of the many things that 8th house rules is death. I don't want you to be scared that this is going to bring an unexpected, you know, passing away of someone near and dear to you. Let's not put that out there. But I will say with Jupiter-Uranus, there can be unexpected benefits coming in, perhaps from somebody who has actually been deceased for some time or something of that nature. All I'm saying with Jupiter-Uranus, be open to unexpected blessings, particularly financial blessings from unexpected sources. Your job is just be open towards it. For others of you, with Jupiter-Uranus, this can be a time in which you are having this unexpected epiphany around intimacy. You know, with 8th house, it's how it is that we merge, how it is that we share our resources. And some astrologers believe how it is that we share and merge our bodies as well. And so firstly, just thinking about resources, since we're on this money note, some of you with Jupiter-Uranus can be coming together with a business partner or a spouse and contemplating shifts that you want to see in regards to your shared resources. You could be meeting with a financial advisor and taking a different direction to continue to build your finances. You could be having an epiphany around a different way that you want to go about your shared resources. That can be part of this experience for you. But on the intimacy note, with Jupiter-Uranus, Uranus, you could be really releasing judgment. You know, when we talk about Uranus, it doesn't care what other people have to say that much. So if there have been parts of you that you have been holding close to yourself and fearful around letting people in, you know, 8th house, it's like our shadow self. And with Jupiter Uranus, there can be this sudden epiphany around no longer caring, no longer fearing that when your loved ones see the inner recesses of your soul, that they'll be scared and run away. Like with Jupiter Uranus, it could be emboldening, like this is who it is that I am. And there's an energy of freedom. Like, I don't know if you're doing shadow work or if you're letting people in on, you know, secrets or something that's been beneath the surface, but there's this energy around liberating yourself from fears, liberating yourself from control issues, liberating yourself from even like attachment issues, not wanting people to get too close. There's just this note of liberation coming in. And with the energy of 8th house, I feel this deeply around control issues and almost this energy around surrendering. Like, I feel like a lot of you have been trying to fight things that are inevitable. You've been trying to control outcomes. You've been trying to control people. You've been trying to maybe even control the future. But there's this liberating energy coming in with this conjunction, not that you are successfully controlling these arenas, but rather that you're giving up the battle. You're allowing it to be a free fall. And it's almost like allowing you to reclaim more of your life where you're no longer trying to force. You're no longer trying to get to the next chapter. You're just free falling and surrendering into this particular chapter of your journey. And it's freeing in a sense. It's liberating. It's exciting. And I see that with this being the house of, you know, death, it's not that anyone's going to pass away. But what I do see is with Jupiter Uranus, you could be having this epiphany around, oh, I'm going to pass away one day. I'm going to pass away one day. And this time is my own. And here I am trying to be liked by others. Here I am caring about what other people think. Here I am living a life in alignment with other people's values. No more. It's like electrifying your perspective around, wow, this time on this physical plane is finite. I want to do what it is that I want. I want to grow past my fears. I want to grow past what has held me back. And 8th house also has to do with debts. So some of you with Jupiter Uranus, you could be freeing yourself from debts of some sort. There could be a random loan that comes your way with Jupiter Uranus that allows some element of growth forward. Definitely be open to unexpected support from others. You know, if there's been something that you've been feeling very stuck in with Jupiter Uranus, somebody could come your way and offer you the support that you need to get through this time. And, you know, we think of support as coming through in financial ways, but as well as emotional support or even ideas from others. Be open to receive during this time. The universe could be trying to, you know, give you new ideas or start the new chapter of your life, and it's going to be using other people as the conduits for this growth. Again, it's not that other people are growing instead of you. It's just that somebody could tell you, hey, have you ever tried this? Or someone could offer to take certain tasks off your plate to free up more of your energy for what it is that you do want. Or someone could be wanting to invest in you. Someone could be wanting to support you. Think of the unexpected support that comes into your world during this time as the universe wanting you to receive this support and people just being the vessels of this support. If Jupiter and Uranus will align in the 9th house of your astrological natal chart, this message is for you. You may potentially be a Virgo Ascendant. You may potentially just have 21 degrees Taurus within the 9th house. But either way, when these two get together, it is creating unexpected revelations, ahas, and potentially even travel opportunities for you all. So let's break down the different manifestations of what may come to the surface within your journey. Firstly, when we talk about 9th house, we talk about faith. And I know I'm talking to some Virgo risings. Okay, some of you are Virgo risings and you all typically like a plan. You like routine. And the first benefit I'm seeing from these two coming together is that you have this new lease on life. You're more spontaneous. You're more open. You're getting out of your comfort zone. You're trying new things. You're saying yes to new opportunities. And that could feel different for you, right? That can feel electrifying. You know, I'm feeling into this energy where some of you are feeling like it's safe for you to anticipate good things. You know, Virgo risings, I know not all of you are Virgo risings, but a lot of you are. Virgo risings tend to have a more nervous constitution, always fearing the worst or planning for the worst. And with Jupiter Uranus, some of you are just being more open to life around what if it's all going to work out? Or even better, what if it's all going to work out beautifully? What if the best moments of my life I haven't even lived yet? There's this energy around you're saying yes, you're expanding, you're tapping into new sides of yourself, and you're open to new opportunities to investigate new aspects of your soul. So for some of you, this could be showing up within a spiritual context. You know, with these two coming together, you could be having a spiritual awakening. Around this time, you could be getting way more into astrology. You could be getting way more into numerology or something else of that nature. You know, make it more new age with the energy of Uranus, like kind of off the beaten path, but it can be something that's really electrifying and awakening your perspective. You could be very curious, wanting to dive deeper into spirituality and learn all that you possibly can. This is also the house of religion, so some of you can be getting more into religion. You're wanting to get into what makes you feel connected to the something more. And you're open to the novel in order to find that. You know, some of you can be liberating yourself from past religious beliefs that no longer make sense for you in your journey. Like when we talk about Uranus, it is the planet of the individual. It's the rebel. And so some of you with Jupiter and Uranus, you're rebelling against long-standing religious ideals that you've held for some time. You could be challenging what's conventional, what was conventionally expected for you to believe in order to find belief systems and religions and spiritualities of what really makes sense to you, of what makes you feel connected to the something more. And if you don't feel that currently, you could be in the mood to go find it. You know, for some of you, you could be really having certain spiritual awakenings. Like you could be transitioning from being agnostic to being curious, right? Questioning, or vice versa. There could just be an energy around certain beliefs that you've held for a long time. You're suddenly challenging, and you're open to the new, and you're open to the novel, and you're open to the unconventional. You know, the energy of Uranus is not about caring what other people think. And some of you are on this path around no longer caring what your life looks like to other people, but more so caring what it feels like for you, and really just centering yourself as the hero on your hero's journey, and just on this path around getting closer to your own personal sense of meaning, even if it doesn't make sense to others. Now, ninth house has to do with travel. So some of you could have some random travel opportunities. Honestly, come your way, a random opportunity to go to a different country. You could meet somebody who's from a foreign land who electrifies your perspective. There could be foreign dealings at this time that shake up your world. And you know, with these planets aligning in Taurus, some of you could be getting some sort of scholarship or grant that will allow you to study abroad or travel abroad. Some of you could get a scholarship or grant around higher education. I'm seeing some of you could have this epiphany around, I've got to go back to school. I want to go to school. Some of you could have it in terms of you're in school and you have this awakening around, no, this is not what I want. This is the conventional path, but it's not necessarily what I want. And you could be pivoting at this time, whether it's choosing not to progress at this institution or changing your major or something of that nature. But around all of these different manifestations of what could surface for you, what I'm feeling into the most is that with Jupiter Uranus, you're looking out at the world through the lens of opportunity. You're looking out at the world through the lens of what could happen. And there's just this electricity that feels like it's coursing through your veins around either feeling connected to a higher ideal or being open to go on a journey to get closer to a sense of self and your own values that feel aligned for you. If Jupiter and Uranus will conjoin in the 10th house of your astrological natal chart, this message is for you. You may be a Leo rising, you may just have 21 degrees Taurus located within the 10th house. Either way, it's time for you to expect the unexpected as it relates to career, public persona, and reputation. So firstly, if you have been on a certain trajectory in regards to career, this conjunction could align with an ongoing building feeling of restlessness that has been occurring within. This alignment tends to make it very clear whether your growth on a certain career path is complete, whether you are still learning. Because with Jupiter Uranus, you could be feeling very restless. Like if you are feeling bored at your current career, this Jupiter Uranus energy could be making you feel very restless and wanting a change very badly, especially if you're feeling suffocated, if you're feeling trapped, if you're feeling restricted, if you feel like you're not learning anymore, if you feel like you're not building towards anything. You know, I'm talking to a lot of Leo risings. This conjunction lands in Taurus. These are both fixed signs, and fixed signs are very consistent. When they say they're going to do something, they do it. They're very hardworking. You're very loyal. And so when it comes to this alignment, you may be questioning if this loyalty or this consistency, are you feeling appreciated for it? You know, Taurus has to do with values. Like, do you feel valued in regards to the contributions that you are making? Is this loyalty due? Is this consistency being rewarded? And are you getting, you know, intrinsic payoff from what it is that you are contributing? That could be the story for some, that you're craving a pivot of some sort, and it could be a pivot that no one was expecting. You know, you've got Uranus in the most public portion of the chart. So this might be something that catches a lot of people by surprise. People may not have been anticipating this from you, but it's important to know, to thine own self be true. And you know, 10th house is what other people see of us. And this time is your own. And these contributions are your own. And while other people might be like, what are they doing? This is so bizarre. This is so out there. They've always had this certain career path. Why are they suddenly changing it? You have to go by what's feeling right for you during this time. Now, sometimes Uranus energy does make us very impulsive. You know, it's very restless, electric energy. And so some of you could be rebelling at the workplace. Like some of you could just randomly decide to quit. You could randomly rebel, you know, against a boss or an authority figure, especially if you're feeling undervalued. And on authority figures, you could notice you're a lot more reactive. You could really resent anyone trying to micromanage you or tell you what to do. You're craving your own space to be during this time. You know, there could be a restlessness within and a real desire to fight for what it is that you deserve. You know, some of you could get an unexpected raise of some sort, or maybe you are even advocating for a raise. But definitely this can bring gain within the public domain if you are in an industry that you are still seeing value in, and that you are still feeling like you have the space to be your own person and that you're still growing. So if that's the case for you, this could be a time in which you are innovating your career. You could be rebranding in some essence for the purpose of growing forward. You could be finding new ways of going about something. You know, Uranus is about technology. So you could be streamlining something. You could be challenging the norm of what's expected within your industry. You know, you could really be a trendsetter at this time, like doing something that none of your competitors are doing and setting new trends that can continue to reverberate out into the future. Did you listen to my historical portion? Like Jupiter-Uranus conjunctions are aligned with some of the brightest ideas that we've experienced within humanity. And some of you could be chiseling that in regards to your public persona. You could be coming out with art that's very out of the box and eccentric and disrupts the norm around how this shows up. I also want to say, let's say you're not working, I do want to say the energy of 10th house is about sort of like passion projects, like what it is that we put out into the world. And some of you could be getting more involved with, you know, politics or a nonprofit, like fighting for the change that you want to see within the world and wanting to fight for where you want humanity to grow. You could be putting that out there in more of a public way during this time. There could be new opportunities in work. If it's not like pivoting industry, there could be education opportunities with the Jupiter energy. There could be travel opportunities with the Jupiter energy, as well as advancement opportunities. And this might be advancement you were not anticipating. The energy of Uranus is expect the unexpected. So when it comes to career matters, something might take you by surprise, but it's important to rest in the knowledge this is supporting my growth. Even as random or unexpected as it can be, continue to rest in the knowledge this is supporting my growth, my pathway forward. If Jupiter and Uranus are getting together within the 11th house of your astrological natal chart, this message is for you. You may be at Cancer rising, you may just have 21 degrees Taurus within your 11th house, but either way, you can expect unexpected developments around friends, your future, and the groups that you are connected to. So let's get into it. Firstly, I want to say you could definitely meet individuals who awaken you, enliven you, are people that you want to be surrounded by, like true like-minded individuals. And let's be real, you know, Uranus is about technology, so this absolutely could be showing up online. You could be connecting to new communities where you finally feel valued. You finally have this energy around feeling that these individuals individuals are like-minded to you and to your journey. Because, you know, when we talk about Uranus energy, it's kind of the archetype of the weirdo. And so I'm just feeling for some of you, especially with Uranus transiting your 11th house, likely for a while now, there could have been this kind of like alien syndrome that you've been feeling around looking at the people around you and just feeling fundamentally different than them. And when you've been experiencing a chapter of your life where you just feel different and it's hard to relate or to genuinely connect to the people around you, when you do find people that are like-minded and that feel like aliens in their world as well, it's such a beneficial feeling. It's such an electrifying feeling as well. And I'm seeing that could be coming alive for you during this time, during this alignment, whether it's new friends that you're making, new communities that you're a part of. You could be, you know, finding an astrology club to join. You could be finding a roller skating club to join. And you're just feeling like you're surrounded by people who are like you in some way, or maybe they're not even similar to you, but they're comfortable within their own skin. Like, that's the energy of Uranus, is march to the beat of our own drum, being our own person, even if it's different or it's quirky or it's eccentric. So maybe it's less so around being around people who are like you, but just being around people who are being themselves. I think when we are unapologetically and radically ourselves, we free other people to be radically and unapologetically themselves as well. So maybe you're getting around people who are just so comfortable in their own skin, march to the beat of their own drum, doing their own thing, that it's making you feel more comfortable and confident doing the same, right? Like being around people who are just eccentric and who challenge what's conventional or what's predictable, and just wanting to be around people who are comfortable in their own skin. That could be medicine for you right now. Like, I'm just feeling for some of you, you've been feeling so disillusioned by being around all of these people who've been fake. They're not being true to themselves. So it's hard for you to be authentically you, because you're like, everybody's wearing a mask. Everyone's trying to be cool or be someone that they're not. And I'm just seeing this energy around, there could be new people coming into your experience that are making you feel like it's safe for you to take the mask down. It's safe for you to be your own self, and that there's going to be groups and people who get it, who get you. And this could be showing up IRL or digitally, online, finding new communities. You know, for those of you who are content creators, you could definitely expect a boost in stats. You can really get an uptick of followers, especially if you're emboldening Uranian approaches. You know, you're trying new approaches in order to garner community. You're integrating new offerings. You're being very weird in how it is that you are growing your following, you know, very authentic, very true to you. That's the medicine with this conjunction. And so some of you, there's people coming in. Some of you, what's happening with this conjunction is that it's your perspective that's awakening and that's shifting. You're having a new lease on life. You're having a new lease on your communities and on your friendships and the groups of those that you are connected to. With these two getting together, maybe you've been trying to fit in and you've been trying to be cool and you've been trying to get approval. And there's just this energy with Jupiter, Uranus, where you're just like, this doesn't freaking matter. I don't want to spend one more minute trying to be someone that I'm not, to try to fit in with people that I don't even like. To be quite honest, like, I don't even value what these people value, right? With this alignment in Taurus. And you could be just kind of disrupting caring or needing to fit in or needing to feel connected to the status quo. The awakening could be happening from within, especially if you've been trying to force friendship or trying to force belonging within a community. There could just be an energy around, you know what, I'm just going to do my own thing. Like, this is a waste of energy trying to fit in and suppress certain elements of who it is that I am. But I would definitely say, if you're open to new friends, put yourself out there, follow the values, right? When we talk about Taurus, follow the values. What is it that you value, and how can you be around people who also value what you value, right? And with the energy of Uranus, follow the weird niche interests, okay? Find some weird niche online communities for you to make friends. Find some communities or clubs of people who love the weird hobbies that you do, okay? Weirder the better, and it's going to lead to growth with this alignment of Jupiter. It's going to let you be excited about your future and excited about the people that you're surrounded by. And so, on the note of future, this is the house of hopes and dreams. And some of you could have an unexpected manifestation just show up. And you're just like, where did this come from? This is out of nowhere. Be open to divine intervention. Be open to random shockwaves coming into your experience, because it is worth noting, you know, Jupiter rejoices in the 11th house. It likes to be here. And when it gathers with Uranus, you could get random desires that you've been waiting on. Like this conjunction aligns in Taurus, which is a very patient earth sign. So there could have been something that you've been wanting. And then randomly in April 2024 and the months beyond, it just shows up unexpectedly, randomly. So be open to the unexpected fulfillment of your desires. I also want to say this can be helpful around your own future. So if it's not so much a fulfillment of a desire for your future that you've had, there could be new things that you're excited by, right? If you've been going through a period of your life where you're not excited by anything, you're like, I don't know what I want for the future. Everything just feels bland. With Jupiter, Uranus, there can be something that excites you. There can be a new idea, a new vision for the future that is sparking up your soul, right? Uranus is electricity. It just takes one spark to electrify your perspective and make you excited again. And Jupiter is about hope. So it could be giving you hope for your future. And again, some of us are going to get our Jupiter Uranus energy show up in blooms, right? Like seeing the plants and the blooming. Some of us are just going to have the seed around a new idea or new vision for the future that we're going to plant and continue to grow. But we're seeing our future differently. And this could show up around new dreams for the future arising, or allowing yourself to disrupt how you saw your future. Maybe you always thought your growth was going to go this way. And during this time, all of a sudden you're challenging what you used to want. Or even if it's what you want, like maybe it's somebody else's value system. With Jupiter Uranus, you're rebelling against it around, I know that's what other people wanted from me, but I would rather live this sort of lifestyle. I would rather my future look like this. Like you could be really questioning your own path to see if your future plans are truly aligned with your values and also just the person that you are. And outside of your own personal future, 11th house also speaks to humanity's future. This is a very humanitarian house. So with Jupiter Uranus, you could be really wanting to rebel for what it is that you value. You know, as we went through in the history section, this corresponds to a lot of revolutions. So you could be really fed up with society and really wanting to protest, really wanting to get together with people who are like-minded and enact change. Like Jupiter Uranus asks for change, and this could be showing up within your future or advocating for humanity's future altogether. And if Jupiter and Uranus will meet up within the 12th house of your astrological natal chart, you may potentially be a Gemini rising. You may potentially just have 21 degrees Taurus in the 12th house. But either way, there is this electrifying perspective shift occurring within this house of what is hidden. So let's talk about how you could feel this within your experience. Even though it's the hidden house, you can still have visible ramifications of this alignment. So let's chat through a few. Firstly, I want to say on that note, 12th house is subconscious processing, and the energy of Jupiter Uranus is very much, if you can change your mind, you can change your life. And I feel that some of you with this alignment could liberate yourself from old subconscious patterns and how they have held you back, how they have kept you from new opportunities. If you struggled with fears or anxieties about something, with Jupiter or Uranus, you could be having this light bulb moment around no more. I don't want these rooted ways of my subconscious and how it operates to hold me back from the growth that I am craving. So I see that some of you could be having a light bulb moment around that. And honestly, this could come up in doing therapy. Honestly, with Jupiter Uranus, that could be something that is shining a spotlight to your subconscious processing. Some of you, you could just get a download. You can get an intuitive hit from your ancestors, from your spiritual support team that really supports you in your pathway forward. And like I said, this is a hidden house, but I'm getting this visual around a seed beneath the soil. It's like your spiritual support team could be giving you an idea or a download that will bloom into something beautiful, but with it happening in the 12th house, you may be feeling guided during this time to keep it secret for now, or to kind of water it and nourish it in private before you put it out into the world. But I do see that with Jupiter Uranus, you could get a stroke of inspiration, and it could come through a dream or from your spiritual support team, and it's valuable nonetheless. But I do feel that it's something a little murky and how it comes through, as well as something that you are feeling guided to keep a little bit private for now, but can absolutely bloom into visible, real ramifications within your life, but definitely something that you're wanting to keep private for now. I also see that with this being the house of solitude, a lot of you are no longer fearful of your solitude. You're feeling that solitude solitude can be something liberating and something that supports your own freedom. I think some of you are awakening to the realization around it's better to be on my own than pretending to be someone that I'm not. You know, Uranus is about what it means to be wholly and authentically ourselves, to march the beat of our own drum, to be weird and eccentric and different. With this energy, if you've been trying to fit in or suppress certain aspects of your weirdness in order to accommodate what other people want from you, I just see with Jupiter, Uranus, you're allowing yourself to be wholly and authentically yourself, even if that means walking your own path for now. You know, it could just be a season of your life. And, you know, for a lot of you, you have North Node in 11th house. So it's not that you're necessarily in a hermit era, but definitely if you are feeling kind of this call inward, I think Jupiter Uranus is asking you for that in order for you to birth or tune into these genius perspective shifts that this transit can give you. Again, you can get ahas, but it feels like it's going to come through in stillness. It feels like it's going to come through in solitude. It could come through some sort of spiritual modality. Some of you could have a new spiritual gift awaken during this time. You start getting messages in dreams. You start automatic writing. You start being able to tap into the other side. Like the energy of Uranus keeps you on your toes. You could be awakening new spiritual gifts that you didn't even realize that you had. But what's important with the energy of 12th house is not fearing the darkness, not fearing the stillness, not fearing the solitude. And if that has been something that you feared, I just see Jupiter Uranus could be liberating yourself from those fears and allowing you to be around people because you want to, not because you have to. And to be so comfortable in your authenticity and in your solitude that when you do choose to be around people, you do so as the individual you are, the quirky, weird version of you that you are meant to be, right? I just see that for some of you, you could have judged yourself. So it's hard for you to really be known by others because you judged yourself for the ways that you are. And so I see that you're healing that from within. You're having this liberating aha moment around, no, this isn't something that I need to keep quiet. This isn't something that I need to keep under wraps. This is part of my genius. Like that's the energy of Uranus. It's weirdness and genius. Those are one and the same. And I'm seeing that you've judged yourself and you're liberating yourself from judging yourself and you're getting more comfortable around allowing your genius to shine through. So my loves, one thing's for sure. When electrifying Uranus and expansive Jupiter get together in the cosmos, growth is the certainty. There's so much with this energy that we cannot anticipate, as Uranus by nature is very unpredictable. But one thing you can have solace in as we navigate this eccentric, liberating energy is just knowing that whatever is transpiring during this time is allowing us to grow, both within our individual journey as well as within the collective, allowing ourselves to propel towards new scientific developments, new perspectives, new ideas, new inventions, new innovations. It's a time to be open to the new. It's a time to be open to the novel. It's a time to be open to the growth. Even with the weird off-the-wall ways that growth could be showing up within April 2024 and beyond. So comment below because I would love to know, what are you looking forward to about this transit? What change or growth are you craving at this time? What do you feel have been the most notable developments for humanity during past Jupiter and Uranus alignments? I would love to know. Comment below. A reminder that Self-Care Astrology, my astrology course, will be having group classes all of 2024. So if you are craving a celestial community who is as passionate about astrology as you are, not just about how to learn this art of interpretation, but also how to leverage it in order to co-create our most magical aligned lives, make sure to check it out within the link below, selfcareastrology.com/course. My Instagram handle is @HaleyCommentAstrology. My TikTok is the same. I would so love to connect with you over there. And until then, again, drink lots of water and stay cosmic.